Hello, and welcome back to the Rich Alvarez Show. I am your host, Rich Alvarez. Do you like my cool, well, you can't even see it, but it's the 30-year Mario shirt from like 2 or 3 years ago at E3? Something like that. Anyways, welcome to the Rich Alvarez Show. Today we are talking about Star Wars, one of my favorite things to talk about. Special news today. In fact, I'm just going to go right to it here. So they've just announced that the Sith Trooper is the newest in the line of Stormtroopers. However, a lot of the literature on this lately, and again, it's all coming from, kind of third-party sources, except for like the announcement by Lucasfilm itself and Hot Toys, which is what this is. This is a close-up look of the Sith Trooper from Hot Toys, but Hot Toys, as you guys may or may not know, they make a line of action figures that is the best. Oftentimes, Hot Toys cost hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars because of their accuracy and detailing. So this is as close and as good of a look at the new Sith Trooper as we are probably going to get. Until, of course, the movie comes out. But even so, this is a really detailed example. So this is what the Sith Trooper looks like. And I can already hear you at home going, well, gee, that's weird. Why is it called a Sith Trooper? Especially since Kylo Ren, who is supposedly head of the First Order, said, let the Jedi die, let the Sith die. If he has no interest in these names, why is he calling this the Sith Trooper? And so there's a couple different lines of thought as to what this may be. The first is that they never call them Sith Troopers in the film, and that, they could just be called Sith Troopers for the merchandising because they're Red Stormtroopers, so the marketing team thought, hey, Sith Trooper sounds like a cool name. And honestly, that's probably the most likely outcome, unfortunately, is that this is just Sith Trooper in name only, and in the movie, we're just going to get some cool-looking Red Stormtroopers that they will never actually call Sith Trooper on screen. The second train of thought here is that this is the personal Stormtroopers of the Knights of Ren, as we have theorized ever since that very first leaked teaser poster for Episode 9 came out, and we saw that there were a bunch of red Stormtroopers in front of the white Stormtroopers, and everybody thought, hey, who are those red Stormtroopers? And I think we all were like, well, the Knights of Ren are on this poster, maybe these are the personal Stormtroopers of the Knights of Ren. However, the Knights of Ren are not Sith either, and we have to assume, until we know otherwise, that they have the same philosophies as Kylo, where they are just acolytes of a sort, and don't really adhere to either the Jedi or the Sith teachings. So again, I ask you, what the hell are the Sith Troopers? And I've come up with a very fun theory for them that ties in with Palpatine. So, as you guys know, Emperor Palpatine, was the great leader of the Sith and the great leader of the Imperial, Galactic Empire. So, he's back in this film in some way. Now, Ian McDiarmid, unless he's being very cheeky, he says that Palpatine's not actually alive in this movie. So then what capacity could Palpatine be in this film? So we've seen in games and in comics and even EU that isn't canon anymore that Palpatine over the years has either cloned himself or put an AI of himself into machines and robots and, so here's what I think. This is my theory. Here's my Star Wars Episode 9 Sith Trooper / Palpatine theory. This right here is Palpatine. This Sith Trooper here, this is Palpatine, and I'll explain why. And again, the reason why I was talking about the literature of it earlier is because some of the literature for the Sith Trooper says a new Stormtrooper, this is a new character in Star Wars Episode 9. It suggests that there is only one Sith Trooper in this movie. But whether this is a single Sith Trooper, meaning there's only one in the movie, or whether this is a group of Red Sith Troopers, it doesn't hurt my theory. Because my theory is simply that this is how they're going to be bringing the Palpatine clones into the movie. Palpatine, and this is my theory, Palpatine has cloned himself, just like he has done in EU in the past. It's been about, 30 some odd years after his death, and we can assume that he had this plan in place before he died. Should he ever die, again, my theory, should he ever die, he had a genetics lab that was automated to go off after his death. And what the genetics lab would do would be to clone his DNA, create clones, and secretly enlist them into whatever the next iteration of the Empire was, in this case, First Order. So this is my wild theory, but I'm going to say that there's a group of Palpatine clones that have been stormtroopers this whole time, and now that Palpatine's spirit or evil presence or whatever it is that's going to be in this movie, now that he's back, he is now influencing these clones, and now they've taken the red armor and they're calling themselves Sith Troopers, and they're all Palpatine's acolytes that are acting on his behalf. So they have his DNA. They probably have some of his Sith powers, because this picture doesn't show it, but these Sith Troopers also carry like a electric sword type weapons that are not lightsabers but are very interesting. They seem to have these very souped up guns. And you might think like, oh, well, that's not very like Palpatine-like. But you have to remember, these could be clones of Palpatine that do not yet know how to completely wield the Force in the way that he did. These could just be bodies that, look like him, and that, because his evil presence is back, he's influencing them to do his evil deeds, and, they're acting on his behalf. And so they are Sith Troopers because they're not quite Troopers, and they're not quite Sith. But my theory is that, now I know I've said theory like 4,000 times already, but I'm just saying, I think that these Sith Troopers are the Palpatine clones. People are like, oh, well, is Palpatine going to have clones? These are Palpatine's clones. If I'm wrong, that's okay. Like I said, these are probably just the Knights of Ren troopers that they've merchandising just irresponsibly called Sith Troopers because they wanted a cool name for them, and they'll never be called Sith Troopers in the movie. Either way, I don't think they're going to be called Sith Trooper in the movie, even if they are Palpatine's clones. I do think it's just a marketing ploy, because think about it this way, guys. How many times in a Star Wars movie, besides either Clone Trooper or Stormtrooper, how many times in an actual Star Wars movie have they said Sand Trooper, or Snow Trooper, or Forest Trooper? The answer is probably none. Those are just merely marketing names for the action figures and toys. So again, I supremely doubt, no pun intended, that the Sith Trooper will not be named Sith Trooper in the movie. This is, after all, an ad for Hot Toys, So, anyways, this is how I'm thinking it is. I think the Sith Troopers are Palpatine's clones, and I think that he will be controlling them via the Force and his evil spirit, and they will be doing his bidding. Again, it's a stretch, but this is my theory, and I'm sticking to it, and I promised myself that I will not be disappointed, because, the whole internet wants us to believe that if we come up with cool theories, and we're wrong about our theories, then that's why we dislike the new Star Wars movies, but that's not true. That's not why we don't like some of the new Star Wars movies. Some of them weren't as great. But, I will not be disappointed if this theory of mine doesn't end up to be true, as long as the movie itself is good. And I do have a lot of faith in J.J. Abrams, and I do have a lot of faith in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, but, I do think that, they need to get some housework in order there, and I think that they're going to take care of that. So, anyways, yeah. Shorts, I noticed a lot of people coming in now live here, and I apologize if you're watching this as it's an upload, because you've probably heard it twice now. But I'm just saying, once again, just to summarize my theory, there are a group of stormtroopers that dress in red called Sith Troopers. They are new to Star Wars Episode 9. It is my personal theory that they are clones of Emperor Palpatine, and that his dark presence or his evil spirit from the nether world of the Force is back and controlling them, and they are doing his evil deeds and doing his bidding now. And they are not on the side of Kylo Ren. They, in fact, will be the ones that Kylo is fighting in the movie. Again, my theory. Okay. And now that we're done with that, I'm going to take it straight to Q&A. We got Marty Man, Son Goku in the house, Hockey Song in the house, Michael P's in the house, Lewis 2's in the house, Mr. J01 is in the house, White Girl 42 is in the house, Paul Uniframe, Matt Provincial is here, Xander Brow, and I think that's about it. So let's answer some of the questions you've been dying to ask. All right. Hockey Song says, behind the scenes answer, they are desperate to get fans back into theaters to watch Episode 9 after what they did in The Last Jedi. And, there's probably a lot of truth to that in a lot of areas, but I doubt, just a brand new Stormtrooper is going to get anyone in theaters that hated the last movie that much. Marty Man says the end of the sequel trilogy is near. And, of course, that's true because this is the last one in the trilogy. Michael P. says, the Red Death. Lewis 2 says, they're most likely going to have a quick appearance like the Executor Trooper from Last Jedi had very few actions in the movie. And then says, I prefer Legends where Palpatine clones himself and he was almost immortal till he was killed by Han Solo. Yeah, and again, I think that this is going to be a nice blend of Legends and other things that we've heard. And I won't repeat myself again, but I do think the Sith Troopers are Palpatine clones. I just repeat myself. Oh well. Yep, Mr. J just got in. And he says, will Episode 9 be the best of the franchise? Of the franchise, I don't know. Of the sequel trilogy, I think so. Right. Oh, it's Right Girl. Right Girl 42 says, oh, she's just talking to Hockey Song. Completely agree. Marty Man says, will the Sith Troopers wield a Sith saber or sticky blasters? They do have a special electric sword that looks really cool. It wasn't in the picture that I showed, but it does look really cool. Hey, Matt Provincial's here. He says, that is awesome Stormtrooper armor. Holy balls. Xanderbrow says, you think they will bring in the Darksaber in the movies? I don't think so, but that would be cool. From Clone Wars, yeah. Marty Man says, do you think we will see Darth Vader? Maybe in a flashback, but probably not like in, we already have Palpatine coming back in some way. I would love to see Anakin's ghost talk to Kylo Ren to slap him out of, his depression, but, we'll see. Vampires for Life is here. Hello, Richie. And I say, hello, Vampires for Life. Michael P. says, will a main hero die to these Red Stormtroopers? Oh, that would be super cool. Mr. J says, they are blood troopers, just a suggestion. Well, they're called Sith Troopers, but, we'll see. Xanderbrow says, we need Finn versus Sith Troopers. Well, I don't know. I'd like to see... Well, actually, we probably will get that. I don't know. Matt Provincial says, Kickstarter updates? And yes, I have to apologize to Matt because our medieval Kickstarter has been on the fritz, but it's not my fault, Matt. I tried to edit it, and Kickstarter gave me some flack. So we may, and I'll talk to you about this afterwards, nobody actually needs to know this, but we may have to start a brand new Kickstarter for the project. We'll get there when we get there. Anyways, Hockey Song says, there was an idea of merging the Yuuzhan Vong story with the Ancient Order of the Wills as the new enemy before the sequel trilogy started. Could that have been a good idea? Maybe, but, we'll never know now. Xanderbrow says, Matt, do you think Wario can defeat Kylo? And I'll tell you guys, I don't know what Matt's going to say, but I think that Wario could defeat Kylo Ren because he's just so wacky. Marty Man, I'm going to get to your super chat in a second. I'm going to get to Matt's question first. And Matt says, and who would win in a fight, in your opinion? Vader in his prime versus Maul in his prime? Ooh, Vader in his prime, like pre-suit? Definitely Darth Vader. Vader, like, pre-suit when he's just Anakin rage monster. I'm going to have to say Vader. I love Darth Maul. He's one of my favorite characters, but Vader was the Force embodied. And the only reason Vader lost to Obi-Wan was because of Anakin's hubris in that moment. He would not have had that hubris in the moment fighting Darth Maul. So definitely Anakin would have beat Maul, in my opinion. Marty Man, here's the super chat. Oh, he's doing the... Okay, it's funny because he already knows, but let me put up the super chat. So he's done a $5 super chat, which I have to sing the chorus of a song. And he wants me to change the lyrics here. So it's I saw the sign, but it's I saw the sign and I opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Gonna talk about Star Wars where the sequel trilogy finally meets its end. That's what he wanted me to do. And he says sing the rest. But again, this is chorus, my friend. Let me see if I can. I'll try to put a few more in for you. I could even go, I saw the signs, and The Last Jedi was not as good as some people said. The critics were paid off by Disney corporate America. Da-da-da. Sorry. That's all I can think of on the spot. But, again, I don't hate The Last Jedi like a lot of people hate The Last Jedi. I like The Last Jedi, I just don't love The Last Jedi, and I have the same problems with The Last Jedi that everyone has. I don't like the way Luke was handled in The Last Jedi. The casino thing could have been cut out completely, but just because those things bother me, I didn't hate the movie. I like the movie, but I didn't like those things about the movie. Anyways, moving on. Mr. J says, how will Episode 9 end? My friend, I have no idea. Xanderbro says, I say Maul in saber skills, but Vader... because Force powers. I'm talking about the Vader vs. Maul. Matt says, Xanderbrow, no, Kyle will kill Wario in a heartbeat. He meant Kylo. I don't think so, Matt. I think Wario wins that battle. Maybe we'll have to see that play out. Maybe we'll have to make that video. I don't know. Lewis says, I have $50 that General Hux dies trying to betray Kylo in the new movie. Yeah, that sounds pretty probable. Marty Man says, Xanderbrow, just to let you know, if you want exclusive live streams, be a member by clicking on Join Understream. Yeah, absolutely. You can click the Join button there to become a member, and we do exclusive streams, especially near the end of the month, where we do an exclusive Q&A about lore. It's usually about Stupid Mario, and then we do a fun, like, Jackbox stream for everybody who's a member. Vampires for Life says, Red Stormtroopers look badass. Agree with Matt. Also, this is Johnny, Richie. Yeah, Vampires for Life is Johnny from the Discord, if you guys are on Discord. Paul Unifre says, there'll be a 7th season of Star Wars The Clone Wars on Disney+. Absolutely there will. We got that teaser trailer forever ago now, but yeah, it's going to be on Disney+. I'm super excited about it. I'm all about it. Vampires for Life says, Wario would kill Kylo with his farts. Absolutely, that's kind of the line of thought I was going down. Xanderbrow says, Darkness versus Yoda, who would win? Well, now we're talking about two completely different, like, ethereal type powers here. But honestly, probably Yoda. Somehow Yoda would win because he's good, and Darkness is, well, confusing. Darkness from my Stupid Mario series. For anybody who's here that doesn't know the Stupid Mario series, Lewis2Vlog says, there's a comic where Vader fought Maul, and he killed Maul by decapitating himself through the gut. Yeah, I think that was a What If comic or something like that. Matt Provenza says, fun fact, the actress who played Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones played Captain Phasma in the first 2 new films. She's the most underrated and underused and best character. She deserved more screen time. Yes, Matt. I think everybody here knew that Gwendolyn Christie, by the way, is her name. I think everybody here knew that Gwendolyn Christie plays Brienne of Tarth and Captain Phasma. And yes, she was, I agree with you there, she was criminally underused in Star Wars. But I can understand, Matt is new to Game of Thrones. He just recently watched the whole thing, so he wasn't very familiar with Gwendolyn Christie when he saw those first 2 Star Wars films, of the new Star Wars films. But as a fan who's been watching Game of Thrones since it started, I was very aware of Gwendolyn Christie and very aware that she was Captain Phasma in the Star Wars movies. Anthony A. says, lol, you're singing. Well, thanks. Internet Review says, is there a new trailer or something? Where has this Red Stormtrooper come from? Well, it came from Lucasfilm itself. In fact, if you go to the official Star Wars YouTube, they have a whole video from their Star Wars show yesterday talking all about the Red Stormtrooper. Marty Man says, Episode 1, Young Anakin versus Episode 6, Darth Vader. Well, obviously Darth Vader's going to win that one. Hucky-san says, should Hayden Christensen return as Anakin as a Force Ghost? I think so. That would be super badass, in my opinion. I know a lot of people didn't care for Hayden Christensen, but even though, you could say whatever you want about his performance, I thought he did an okay job at doing Anakin, and just having Anakin as a Force Ghost, trying to convince Kylo that he's wrong, don't make the same mistakes I made, sort of stuff. I think that would be super significant and super cool. Nicholas Patton says, question, what is your opinion on the animated series? Which one? I love the Clone Wars, and I also love Rebels. I have not seen any Resistance yet because I've heard that it's actually a cartoon for smaller children, which is disappointing since Clone Wars and Rebels was kind of made for everyone. But I do like Clone Wars, I do like Rebels, but I have not seen Resistance. I don't know, maybe I'll watch it someday. Xanderbrough says, Wario beats all 3 plumbers in episode 44. Tyrion Lannister versus Captain Phasma. Oh, hi, Johnny. Yeah, Wario is pretty tough from our series. Mr. J says, what editing software do you use? I kind of circus it around a little bit. For the most part, I stick to Adobe products, though. And that includes everything from Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects and so on. Anything I need. Adobe Audition, for audio. Adobe products. Just get the Adobe suite. Son Goku says, don't forget, Matt, you're the second chosen one. Man, you guys really remember your Stupid Mario Brothers lore better than I do. Nicholas Patton says, Matt, if you're still here, did you see the cup? It looks like Matt may have left because he's not responded in quite a while. Internet Review says, thank you, Rich. I'll check that out now. Cool. Lewis2Vlog says, so when I was at Celebration here in Chicago, I talked to Jaina Iden from Battlefront 2. I asked her if her daughter makes an appearance, and she couldn't answer that. Well, yeah, but I think it's already been more than confirmed that she is not the mother of Rey. And actually her daughter, and maybe you already know this and I'm reading this wrong, but her daughter was in the DLC for Battlefront 2, and she is not Rey. Marty Man 641 says, will Hayden Christensen or Jake Lloyd make a cameo in episode 9? I guess, Marty Man, you didn't realize that someone had already asked that question, but I hope that Hayden Christensen comes back for a cameo. There's really no reason why Jake Lloyd would come back for a cameo, because, you know, Hayden Christensen would be who is Anakin, you know. And Jake Lloyd would he doesn't look anything like he did as a kid at this point. And, it's weird. You may be a CG Jake Lloyd of something he looked like from episode 1. Louis Duvlog says, but she said maybe Lando will hold the answer in the movie. Well, maybe. I don't know who you're talking about. No. I don't know who she is. Maybe you were referring to the Star Wars video yesterday where they were talking about the author of a Lando book was female and she was talking about Lando. So maybe you're referring to that. I have no idea. Matt Provincial is still here. And he says, Nicholas, the World Cup? And he says, no, a coffee cup in Game of Thrones. And then Matt says, I did. Awkward. I feel like I'm reading somebody else's chat now. Yeah, people are just talking to Matt in chat, and that's cool. Yeah, Matt says, I'm still here, Rich. Paul Unifray says, weren't you going to create an episodic web series called Star Wars Legends of the Force? Yes, we were. But it turns out we did not have the, $20,000 needed to make our plan was to, turn Garrett's garage into a giant green screen studio where we could film ourselves, and build, the front of the bridge where we could, be on the bridge of a ship and have the green screen be everything behind us, and we were going to do all this cool stuff, and then we realized, oh, that's going to cost, $20,000, and we are broke. So we can't do that. So we decided to do Fallout Elwood instead because we already, we go to Wasteland festivals and stuff. So we already have a bunch of, Wasteland stuff. So we just thought, I love Fallout. We do Fallout Elwood. Fallout Elwood is essentially what replaced Legends of the Force because this channel doesn't make any money. And we just can't afford to do something that grand, sadly. But that's okay. And that's, again, it's another reason why we need this Kickstarter for Matt's project, because there's no way we could do something like that. Matt's project is the medieval fantasy. There's no way we can do something like that without a budget, which is why we got to get that Kickstarter started. And I know that Matt's already on my, Matt can tell you himself right now in chat. He's on my butt about it. But again, I think we have to do a new Kickstarter. I promised you guys I would have a Kickstarter link for you by this week, and I don't have one yet because Kickstarter's being difficult. But I promise you we'll figure it out. Anyways, Marty Man says, Mario was the chosen one. He's Merlin's child. I got a bunch more stupid Mario stuff. Let's try to get back on topic, guys. Xanderbrow says, Lando, I'll get my ship back on over my dead body. And he's doing a little script. It's fun. Hockey Song says, you think the last scene in The Last Jedi is a post-credit scene, but they can't put it as a post-credit scene because it's Star Wars? I don't think so. I think that, that was meant to be in the movie. But I know that it kind of had that sort of post-credit scene vibe to it. But I don't think that J.J. Abrams is going to do anything with the Broom Kid or anything, that you might be thinking about. I think that was Rian Johnson's thing, and I think that idea is out the window. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on the Rich Alvarez Show today. That's going to be it for me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on another exciting episode of The Rich Alvarez Show. Bye!